Welcome to Knicksfandom. This is an independent New York Knicks fan-based podcast, which was created by fans for fans. The show is hosted by LA Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the Knicks, the NBA, and various other sports-related topics. Join us. It's going to be a heck of a ride.
So here we go now, holla if you hear me though, come and feel me. Flo, it's your favorite New York trio. This is episode 8 of our podcast, known as Knicksfandom, the podcast that revolves around the New York Knicks, the NBA, and anything else that we choose to discuss. I'm your host, LA Blackwell, and it's great to be back. I'm joined by my one co-host, Danny D. How are things?
LA, everything's good. How's everything with you, brother?
Good. We back in the building. As always, my other co-host is Flo. Is everything good on your side, brother?
LA, everything's good, brother. How's it going over there, brother?
Going well. Well, let's get ready. Our newly revamped show is starting today, and our first new segment is Off the Cuff. Off the Cuff, this is where I simply present a few major topics of the day that affects the New York Knicks, the NBA, or the sports world in general, on a much larger scale. Each topic will be discussed for a maximum of only about 4 minutes or so. And our first topic, Dirk Nowitzki is reportedly mulling over retiring after the 2016-17 season, according to Yahoo Sports and the German magazine Sport Bild. He stated that his body, quote-unquote, hurts everywhere. Do you believe it? What you think? Do you think he should retire? And where would you put his career if you truly did follow the likes of a Tim Duncan out that proverbial door? Danny D, let's start with you.
Hey, man, if his body's hurting, the brother's getting old, man. He done get a lot to the game. European 7 foot who can shoot, and also he got a championship. If you want to retire, I'd rather him retire on top with a good legacy. I don't want him going out like a Kobe, you know what I'm saying, hogging the ball and things like that. But Dirk had a good career, man. If he's too tired, man, give it up. But he got to go down with the great. He got a ring. And one of the great European shooters there, 7 foot with a jump shot.
I hear you. How about you, Fuller? What you think about this?
I gotta commend Dirk Nowitzki if this is his last year. Kudos to him. At the end of the day, one of the greatest power forwards in the history of the game. You know, he honestly replaced Larry Bird in terms of one of the greatest shooting power forwards in NBA history. I believe he's played in over 1,345 games, averaging 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, shoot 47% from the field. He shoot 38% from the 3-point line. He averaged 88% from the free throw line. Definitely. This is a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. Won a ring. God bless him. I wish him all the best in his retirement if this is his final year.
I hear you. I concur. I agree with both y'all in regards to this. I think he gave everything he could get to the game. And it's not really going to change his legacy if he won another championship or not. He really not going to put him an extra level. But the thing I thought about when he retired is like it's kind of simpler with Patrick on one level. It made me, I guess, as a Knicks fan, I was thinking the big difference that Pat never got over that hump, never won that championship ring or was that MVP for the league. And it makes a big difference when you retire, the whole legacy of how you look back at Dirk versus if he didn't win. Like, we talked about previously, Danny, with the Golden State series when he lost in the first round. I think his career would look a lot different, and he might continue to play if they didn't win that series and go on to win the championship against LeBron. What you think about that?
That's what I said, because that's what it is, because the name of the game right now is rings. His legacy, of course it wouldn't have been tainted, but it wouldn't have been I finally did it. You understand what I'm saying? Now I can sleep at night because exactly. I know I got a ring. I know I got a ring, and I know I'm gonna go to the Hall of Fame. I got to. There's no doubt about it. As opposed to like, damn man, I'm still chasing it.
That ring, man, makes a big difference. But we'll see what happens. But that's it for that first subtopic. For our next topic, I want to discuss Russell Westbrook. After 25 games, he's presently was averaging 30.7 points per game, 10.7 rebounds per game, and 10.8 assists. Do you believe he will do something that hasn't been done since the 1961-62 season when the big old Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double, 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists, and finished the season for the first time in NBA history I can recall? And if you think Westbrook would do it, if not him, then who you think might be able to do that? Starting with you, Flo, this time. What you think about that? You think Westbrook got a chance of doing a triple-double?
Yes, I think definitely Russell Westbrook has the opportunity to match Oscar Robertson in terms of leading the league in triple doubles, in points, rebounds, especially with points. I believe he's number one in NBA scoring. I believe he's number one in assists, and in rebounds, I believe Westbrook is around the top 15 in rebounds. Definitely, he's going to average a triple-double when the season is over. The funniest thing is I always thought Jason Kidd would be that guy, but unfortunately, he never did it. But Westbrook is definitely going to be that guy. And I think once he does it, the next guy to look out for that might do it, believe it or not, Mr. Ben Simmons of the Philadelphia 76ers.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking that too. What about you, JD? What you think? You think he might got a chance to do it? You want to bet the house?
He has a chance to do it. He has to do it. If he don't do it, they're not going to win. He got to do it. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he has to. He's going to do it because if he doesn't do it, they're not going to win.
But what about injury? That's the thing I think might hold Westbrook back.
That's also it's the injury. But that's how he plays. He plays 0 to 100. And I've seen some games that he looked frustrated out there. That's I give it up to a brother. He gonna need some IV after the game too, like Michael Jordan. Just give him the same thing, just pump it into his body. He gonna have to do it. If he doesn't play, that team is not gonna make the playoffs.
I hear you.
It's like a shame. Like I don't want him to do it because I want the brother to heal and things like that. But he got to do it though.
I hear both of y'all, but I kind of think he's gonna get real close, but I don't think he's gonna finish the season with it. I mean, if he has like 70+ games, I mean, if he had like 50 games, he might get it. But I got a feeling he may not average the full triple double. But, people getting close. I went back and looked at the numbers after thinking about this question. And Magic Johnson back in 81, he had 8.6 rebounds, 8.6 assists, and 21.6 points per game. Also in 82, he had 9.6 rebounds, 9.5 assists, and 18.6 points per game. So it's been very close to some players had it. Also, Larry Bird, I looked back, and back in 89, he had 9.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists, and 20+ points per game. LeBron came somewhat close back in 2012 with 8 rebounds, 7.3 assists, and 26.8 points per game. I think he was the other guy I thought about that might have a chance, but if anything, I think more like Flo said, Ben Simmons, he might be the guy that's going to do it down the road. Okay?
But then I have to, only thing to add, Elo, on that one, they had help. He don't got no help.
That's true. That should help his numbers, though, if he got to do so much by himself.
That's what I'm trying to say, because he don't got no help. That's the only reason I think he'll do it, because he has no help.
Okay.
Oladipo. Oh.
And for
what's wrong with Oladipo? Yeah, I ain't saying nothing wrong with it, but they gave that man some money, man. He gonna have to step up too, And we're gonna have to get Roberson. Another guy. He gonna have to go. Oh, but hey, man, go ahead, Oklahoma. Do your thing.
And the last one. In reports, it was reported that as LeBron James' career begins to wind down, there was some whispers in the room mill about him possibly coaching an NBA team in the future. Although Memphis Grizzlies head coach David Fisdale and LeBron's former assistant head coach while he's with the Heat stated, quote unquote, he would kill somebody. Perfection is like his standard. He wants perfection. Do you agree with Fisdale, who could see him as an owner, but not specifically as a head coach? We'll go with you, Danny D. What you think about that? LeBron as a head coach in the future?
I go with Fisdale. I don't see LeBron as a head coach. I see him more as a GM because, you know what I'm saying, he wants to get the W. He wants perfection, things like that. He's going to be like a Phil, man, in the background. Because if they lose, they start out losing. LeBron don't like to lose. He wants to be a winner. A GM, he can stay in the background, make some move. As a coaching, he already does the coaching now, but I don't see him as a coach. I see him more as a GM.
Okay, I got you. How about you, Flo? What you think of LeBron as a coach?
It's so funny. It was so funny is I thought LeBron did coach the Cavaliers when David Blatt was the coach.
Ooh, low blow. Go ahead.
But honestly, I gotta agree with Coach Fisdale. At the end of the day, I can picture LeBron as an NBA owner, not really as an NBA head coach full time. Like I said, I think LeBron already did his coaching when David Blatt was the coach. Because in reality, I think LeBron was the coach of the Cavaliers, during the David Blatt years, per se.
And so Eric Spoelstra in there too.
That's a great point. That's a great point. LeBron was actually coaching the Heat. That's a great point. I forgot about that. Excellent point, Danny D. Excellent point.
And see,
but at the end of the day,
no, go ahead, D.
Go ahead.
Flo.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Flo.
What I was going to say at the end of the day, yeah, he's an NBA owner. I think that if he put his, financial resources together, maybe he'll, sit down and talk to his Banana Boat brothers, Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony, hopefully, all of them will put their money together. Maybe they'll buy an NBA team together.
Could happen. I could definitely see that happen down the road. But I'm going to disagree with both of y'all on this point. I think LeBron will be a head coach in the future if he decides he really want to go that route. I see him more like Larry Bird. I think he would do that like Larry Bird did with the Pacers, but only for a few years, like maybe 2 or 3 years. I think LeBron might want to be like that with the youngsters. He talks a lot with team. If you ever hear him in like the post interviews, he's always sort of stressing team. I could see him being like a mentor to the young guys coming up. So I think he would take that as a challenge and then go into the ownership. But I think he would do it for a short amount of years and get like a veteran head assistant coach like Rick Carlisle was for, back in the day with Larry Bird. I could see something like that. If he decided he really wanted to do it as another challenge, I could see him doing that. But, only time will tell. But that's it for our new segment, Off the Cuff. And we're going to go back to one of our regular segments right now, known as Tip Off. As usual, this is a short segment where we each pick one topic that we have been thinking about and would like to discuss in a group format. The topic may pertain to NBA, sports related, or anything that just might come to our mind that we think we find interesting, or you, the listener, would find interesting, hopefully, as well. Started off this week, I want to start with Flo. How about you? Anything you got for tip-off?
Believe it or not, LA, I have 2 I would like to discuss. If you just give me that moment, I would like to discuss 2.
Okay, that's fine.
2 NBA trade rumors. Number 1, the Philadelphia 76ers would trade Nerlens Noel and point guard Sergio Rodriguez, the Portland Trail Blazers, for a struggling small forward and former 76ers Evan Turner. What do you guys think about this potential trade rumor?
I don't like it. Not for the 76ers. I think you're giving up too much.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm going to give it 2 pieces. The guy's a starting point guard right in Rodriguez. And Noel, for a guy you could have signed back anyway, they got a ton of cap space. I like it for the who's the team they both be trading to?
He'll be going to Portland.
No. Yeah, that's right. He went over there with free agency. I wouldn't do it. I'd do it if I'm Portland. I get a center and a point guard at the time. I don't think Turner's doing that great with him. What you think about that, Danny D?
And plus, they just paid Evan Turner all that money, too. Evan Turner's playing. He's playing really lackadaisical out there in Portland. Like, once again, I know because he's on my fantasy basketball team. But, yeah. Evan Turner, he's not putting up the numbers he used to, man. He used to be a double-double machine out there. And, yeah, that's a horrible trade for Philadelphia. You're giving up a starting point guard and a big man. But, Noel's very frustrated. If y'all saw some of his interviews, he said y'all got to get together. Brother wants some more playing time. He wants to go.
I'm not mad at him. He should be starting. He's played well enough that he should be a starter on a lot of teams. So I can't be mad at him, especially when you got 3 centers in front of you. 2 centers and 3 in the rotation. So I understand. I'd rather you be hungry than want to sit on the bench. What you think about Flo? You think that deal is a good one for Philadelphia?
Here's the thing. Number 1, the money works out according to the NBA trade machine. But here's the thing. For Portland, yeah, they want Nerlens Noel because they're looking for a big guy that, that doesn't really need the ball to be effective in the game. Nerlens Noel can make his impact defensively. He doesn't really need to touch the ball offensively. If they throw some alley-oops to him, he'll score some points right there. Some putbacks, In regards to the 76ers, yeah, look at it. They're like over $20 million under the cap. So they wouldn't mind taking Evan Turner's contract. And by the way, to add on to Danny's point, Evan Turner has actually signed a 4-year, $70 million contract with the Portland Trail Blazers in July, to add on to Danny's point. So Philly needs money. They need money, because they're, like I said, they're under the cap. So they need to put some money in their books. So it makes sense for them to do the trade. But value-wise, you're giving up Nerlens Noel, who is a shot blocker, rebounder, a guy that, in his NBA career has averaged 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game. But I understand. You got to do what you got to do at the end of the day. So, gentlemen, I have one more trade rumor. One more.
Okay.
All right. The last one here that I have, the Minnesota T-Wolves would trade point guard Ricky Rubio.
That's your boy, D.
Backup point guard Tyrese Jones to the Miami Heat for James Johnson, and point guard going Dragic. The money works according to the NBA trade machine. I would like to know, guys, what's your take on this?
You can start, Dandy.
If I'm Miami, I'm not giving up Gordon Dragic. Gordon Dragic is way better than Ricky Rubio. Way better. Hands down. So, yeah, it'd be a good look for Minnesota, but if I'm Miami, nah, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, pretty much took the words out of my mouth, Dandy. I got to agree with that one. I was thinking I could see why they may want to do that and like just break it up, but I think it's a better deal for Tom Thibodeau. And for the T-Wolves, you get your veteran, you get your point guard that actually can run the offense, former all-star caliber type player. And Dragic, he's not really playing up to par the same way in Miami. I think it'd be a good fit for him. But I don't like it for Miami because I'm not a big Rubio fan at this point. I really don't know why you're doing unless you want to get out of that contract quicker. I'm not sure they contract how much left is with Rubio versus Dragic, and I'm not that big on the other piece they would get. But how about you, Flo? What you think about the deal?
I agree with all of you guys, believe it or not. At the end of the day, this is a great trade for Minnesota if they can pull this off. You're getting a veteran point guard that brings experience to a young ball club in Minnesota. Definitely he'll be able to run Tom Thibodeau's offense. And I think he can, it will allow this Minnesota team, hopefully, they can gel quicker with Dragic as a veteran. Hopefully, it might allow them to sneak in as an 8th seed. I think this trade would actually help Minnesota. In terms of Miami, this is an awful trade. Awful, awful, awful. If Pat Riley does this trade, then he definitely needs to be fired. Period.
Well, we'll see what happens. But thank you, Flo, for that. How about you, Dandy? What's your hot topic for the day, if you have one?
So my hot topic today is partially I'm just going to talk about a little bit about the new CBA deal that was reached later on this week. So article that was by Tom Ziller discussed about the new CBA deal. So now in the new CBA deal, have teams having a greater chance by keeping their own best player by offering 6 years extension. So basically saying, for example, he said Anthony Davis in 2 years, they can give him a 6-year extension that's going to be worth around $250 million as opposed to having a 4 or 5 year deal. So a negative example that he had also, if it was 2 years later, Kevin Durant wouldn't have been able to go. He would have been able to go to Golden State, but then Oklahoma would have gave him a 6-year deal worth $190 million. So how do you feel about this new CBA deal with 6-year extensions?
Okay. You can start off, Flo. What you think about it?
I mean, honestly, it favors really the current team where the player is playing for in the last year of his contract. That's what this extension, it really favors that player because now a guy like, for example, Stephen Curry, you're saying right now that, okay, he's going to be a free agent in this year. He's making $11 million. Mm-hmm. You figure now he could re-sign with Golden State for 6 years, $250 million. That's a win-win for the first and first. It's a win-win for the player because he's getting paid, and it's a win-win for the Golden State Warriors organization because you think about it, because now you have fans that's coming to see Stephen Curry play basketball. Now you know for a fact that your home arena most likely is going to be packed to capacity because now you're seeing one of your homegrown star players that you drafted. He's locked in for 6 years. So, so that helps a lot. So it's a win-win for the player and for the home team.
Okay. Thank you, Flo. I would say I love it for them because it's definitely up to small market teams. Cause I'm really getting tired of seeing these guys just flip and switch the whole landscape of the NBA. When you leave like that, hopefully it'll cut down those super teams, which I'm not a big fan of. But the question I have with Danny D is, can you trade the rights for that 6-year deal to another team, or it has to be with the team that already with?
It has to be the team that you're already with.
Okay, so you can't do like they did with Miami. He signed them, but then those 6-year rights go to the new team you want to go with. If he decide I'm not re-signed with y'all, you got to get something for me.
Yeah, they said he can do something like that. For example, they said say if Anthony Davis didn't want to take that 6-year deal and he wanted to go somewhere else and do maybe a 4-year deal, they said now that $250 million he would have made for the 6-year deal, now they would have gave you a 4-year deal. Now you would be only making $160 million now, as opposed to making the $250.
So
now they can't sign you more than a 4-year deal.
Oh, okay, so he
now
can't do the 6 year with another team.
Yeah, you can't do it. They're making you stay at home for the 6 year.
Nice.
As opposed to if you go somewhere else, they'll give you a 4 year deal.
I like it. Let loyalty be rewarded, That's the way I look at it. Because these teams put so much into one player, and you just look at how these teams change because of that. And if you really want to go, then you can go. But you can't have best of both worlds, basically. So I like it. All right. Thank you, Danny D, for that. And I was saying this is our tip-off segment. Sorry about that earlier. Lastly, for myself, I like to dress. I'm going to play fancy GM, y'all. And I thought of a little minor trade for the Knicks. See what y'all think about it. Basically, I'm getting nervous with this Knicks team. Right now, their backup issues, as we stated in the previous podcast, make sure y'all check it out, is some problem areas. And also now you're having Rose and Melo has been injured. As we stated before, this was a big thing we had to worry about with this team. So a minor trade I thought about, and I looked it up, and it actually does work with the trade machine and everything of that nature. And it would help out the Knicks in regards to their point guard situation as well within their small forward/power forward situation. And the trade would involve the Philadelphia 76ers and TJ McConnell, as well as Robert Covington. If they're not willing to trade Covington the deal, then maybe Hollis Thompson, but I prefer Covington. And the Knicks would trade Sasha Vujacic indoor, and the Rockets, the 2017 second-round pick that they owe, they would trade that back to the Philadelphia 76ers. What do you think about that deal, Flau?
Can you repeat that one more time? I was writing it down. Can you repeat it one more time, brother?
No problem. The Knicks would receive T.J. McConnell from the Philadelphia 76ers and Robert Covington. I would prefer, if they're not willing to trade Covington, then Hollis Thompson. The Knicks would trade Sasha Vujacic indoor, and the Rockets old 2017 second-round pick. And let me just tell you the numbers. T.J. McConnell is basically averaging 3.8 points, 2.5 rebounds, 4.7 assists. Covington is averaging 9.7 points, 5 points rebounds, and 1.2 assists. Hollis Thompson is averaging 6.2 points and 2.9 rebounds and 0.8 assists. Both of these guys all three of the guys are relatively young, and I like what they bring. So T.J. McConnell's pretty much a proven floor general type of point guard. Robert Covington is kind of in-betweener. He has a nice three-point ability. Also can drive some ways. He's very physical for his size. And Hollis Thompson more just the outside shooting that they can bring. Because I'm really getting tired off the bench of what they have regarding the backup for Melo.
To be honest with you, when you're losing, when you give a view check, you're losing a guy with playoff experience that has rings with the Lakers. Indoor really hasn't gotten that much minutes with the Knicks, unfortunately. So you're trading a veteran ball player and an unproven power forward indoor for two guys that can help the Knicks immediately. So I like this trade, believe it or not. I think it's a good trade for the Knicks. I think for the Sixers is actually a good trade because they get a veteran that has won rings with the Lakers. So I think it's a win-win for both teams.
And they also get a second-round pick, and they also get some salary cap relief, which they really don't need. But doing the deal, they would save about $360,000 as well as a year in salary. What you think about it, Danny D? Thank you, Flo.
It's good. It'll be good, man. It's good, man. What you need to do is throw Lance Thomas in that deal too.
I was looking at that, but right now you can't trade him. I forgot. It's some issue with his contract, something right now. They have to wait till after January 15th for something of that nature.
Can I add to that, LA?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Flo.
You're correct. You're correct in terms of Lance Thomas. Yes, you got to wait till January 15th because remember, he had his early bird rights reannounced. Remember that when the Knicks re-signed him, he took less money. So you can't move Lance Thomas until January 15th.
Exactly.
That's correct.
And that's why we'd like Covington to basically take his spot and then look to move Thomas down the road once he's available to be moved. And McConnell, I really don't like the way Jennings been playing once I looked at Rose. I mean, we'll get into that with the Knicks League Roundup, but Jennings really been struggling as a starting point guard. I don't know if y'all really been noticing that. The numbers hasn't been that great as a starter versus him coming off the bench.
But the thing is, he's not a starter.
Exactly. That's why I'd rather have McConnell to have be more of a prototype point guard to give him a little relief right now.
Yeah, McConnell gets busy. I like that's a good trade. And Covington, even though he's a little bit inconsistent, he can go off, he can shoot the three, he can play down low. He's a good player. I like that. I like the trade. Okay. I like it.
You heard that? Let's get it on, Phil. I hope you're checking this out, man, because this is not working right now. We need to do something, people. All right. But that was our tip-off segment. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. And basically, that would take us right into... We're going to take a quick message reminder break. But make sure y'all stay tuned. And just stay tuned for this. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Quick reminder. Please subscribe, share, and give a positive review to the podcast when you have a chance on iTunes. It'd be very much appreciated. You also can find links to our show on Spreaker.com, Stitcher.com, Pocket Cast, and then we're also on Google Play. You also can find links to our show on our Facebook fan page, which is also known as Knicksfandom. In addition, if you have any comments or have any mailbag questions you'd like us to address on the show, you can submit them via email at knicksfandom@yahoo.com. Lastly, this is also an independent podcast that is not officially affiliated with the New York Knicks at this point and all the time. Now back to our regularly scheduled podcast. And we're back. Now it's time for our weekly Knicks Roundup. This is basically where we talk about all the weekly games since our previous podcast. Since our previous podcast on 12/11, the Knicks had an away game against the Lakers, which they won 118-112. On 12/13, they had another away game against the Suns, which they lost 113-111 in overtime. And on 12/15, the Knicks had a game against the Golden State Warriors, the Western Conference champions, which they lost 103-90. And then lastly, on 12/17, the Knicks had a away game against the Nuggets, which they lost 127-114. The Knicks went 1-3 in the previous 4 games since our previous podcast. The Knicks' total record now stands at 14-13, 9-4 at home. And if the playoffs started, the Knicks would be in 6th place at this point. What are your main thoughts regarding the first game, the Lakers game? And we'll start with you, Danny D.
The Lakers games, they came out with some good energy. And the thing is, they played collectively as a group. And Derrick Rose played. That's a very good thing that helped out. Derrick Rose actually played in the game, had 25 points. And they played together. They played defense. They rebounded. And the bench contributed. Jennings had 19. And they did okay, man. They did a good game. They had a real game. Out-rebounded them. They did good. They played together as a group. Carmelo didn't have a good game, but the bench and everybody picked him up. I like that. It was a very good game for them and a good win. Much needed.
It definitely was, considering how they did after that. How about you, Flo? What you got to say about that Lakers game?
Positives and negatives. Let me go with the positives. Derrick Rose played well, made his first 8 baskets, had 25 points, shot 12 of 16 from the field, 3 rebounds, a block. Courtney Lee, who I've been very critical of. You guys know that I would prefer the Knicks had signed Eric Gordon instead of Courtney Lee. You know I've said that since episode 1 of the podcast. 16 points, 4-6 from the field, 1 steal, 1 assist, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. So kudos to Courtney Lee. And also Justin Holiday off the bench, 3 of 6 from the field, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 9 points in 16 minutes off the bench. And also a player Danny D mentioned a minute ago, Brandon Jennings, 19 points off the bench in 23 minutes. 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. 1 turnover, which is big. 4 assists, 3 rebounds. 5-11 from the field. And Porzingis, 26 points, 8 of 15 from the field, 12 rebounds. 7 of 9 from the free throw line, 3 of 4 from the three-point line, 1 steal. 7 blocks. That's big. 7 blocks. 7 blocks. The biggest issue I have with this game is Carmelo Anthony. Defensively, he was horrible. Forget about offense. I know he had a bad game shooting-wise. I know that he shot 4 of 16 from the field. He had 13 points. But he had 7 assists, which was very helpful. But the biggest problem I had, he was outscored by Luol Deng, who had 21 points. I didn't even realize Luol Deng was still playing the NBA. The way how Coach Thibodeau from the Minnesota T-Wolves, when he was coach in Chicago, he burnt out his players, his main guys. Derrick Rose, that's right, Derrick Rose is out with back spasms right now, currently. And Joakim Noah is having an awful season with the Knicks. And Luol Deng was averaging 8 points and shooting 39% from the field until he faced Carmelo Anthony, And I expected the Lakers to win that game once Deng had outscored Melo. I actually thought the Lakers would win this game, but all in all, the Knicks got the job done. But again, very sloppy. They only had a great third quarter. They only gave up 19 points in the third quarter. Overall, very sloppy defensively. Gave up 37 points in the fourth quarter and 30 points in the first quarter. Very sloppy defensively. And it started to show if we, once we continue with the other games, after this game, it really started to show. Very sloppy defensively overall. Very sloppy.
Okay. Thank you, Flo. I concur with both of y'all. Definitely was a much-needed win for the Knicks. But some of the things I was thinking about that stood out for me, I was looking at some of the trends, and it's going to continue looking at these other games we're about to speak about. One thing I was very happy about was Hernan Gomez. I thought he played well, 12 rebounds, 6 points. And I'm really looking at, Flo been talking about the Noah really has been struggling. And it's definitely hurting the Knicks when they start in the game. I'm starting to realize that a little more. He might have to just work his way into the team off the bench. So I'm trying to see if they can really try to change the rotation in the next couple of weeks or so, or a week or so. And some other thing that really stood out for once was the free throw attempts for the Knicks. I thought it was big. They had 26 made free throws out of 31. They also had 52 total rebounds and a total of 11 blocks. That I thought that was very big for them at the same time. But one thing that's continued to struggle with these Knicks is the inside the paint. They allow 48 points in the paint. You can't allow that, especially to the Lakers who don't even have a dominant inside presence like that. As you talk about in the next games that's following this trend continue to happen. And this is something that the Knicks cannot afford to do, especially when you have such a team that's up and down, especially with the top teams in the league right now. But that's pretty much all I got to say about that game. And going into the next game with the Suns, we'll start with you, Flo. What's your major points regarding that game?
Before we talk about the Suns, LA, I got a question for you. Have you finally seen the light?
I hear you. The light is coming a little with something, Sean Paul would say, give me a light. But, it's, you just can't afford to keep falling behind like the Knicks have. So the thing with Noah, I still think he's going to play better than he's playing now. But it's become a real detriment to the team in that you just can't afford to have this guy doing so little. Because in that game, he played 20 minutes, I believe, and had like 4 points. And like 3 rebounds, I think 4 assists or something like that. And in terms of defense, if you're allowing 40 points in the paint, he's not doing his job with that either. So it's about right now the Knicks need to win. They need to win consistently. So you got to do what's best for the team at this point. And,
Wow.
Hey, that Cleveland game woke me up with a lot of things. But, going into the Suns game, what you think about that one overall, Flo?
Oh, this has had to be one of the worst games I've ever watched in my life with the Knicks, man. Horrible job, man. I'm pissed off with this Knicks team. No transition defense whatsoever. That first quarter, they gave up 14 fast break points in the first quarter. The Suns actually went on a 12-0 run. That's crazy. And also the Knicks didn't even defend the three-point line in that first quarter. Second quarter, Suns went on a 15-4 run. But then after that, then the Knicks started to woke up. Courtney Lee hits a 3. Porzingis hits a 3. Then Courtney Lee hits another shot with the shot clock going down to 0. And also the Suns had missed 6 shots in a row during that period. But the Knicks had an opportunity to tie this game in the second quarter. But your boy, Mr. Noah, missed 4 free throws that could have tied the game at 48. And going to halftime of that game, the Suns bench had outscored the Knicks bench 19 points to 10. And, fast break points, 18-5 in favor of Phoenix.
And 33 overall.
Brandon Knight had 11 points in 11 minutes in that first half. Shot 4-7 from the field. Marquise Chris had 13 points and 11 rebounds in that first half. Overall, I believe he had 14 points and 4 rebounds in the game overall. But Mr. Rose, 0-6, 2 points. Back spasms. He had to leave the game with back spasm. This game was, like I said, a horrible game to watch, man. Horrible, horrible game to watch. I was very frustrated watching this game. Matter of fact, I watched this game 3 times. You don't know how much I wanted to bang my head a couple of times watching this game, man. This is an embarrassing loss, not for the Knicks, but also not just for the team, but for the organization.
That's masochist stuff there, Flo. 3 times? I couldn't watch this 3 times. Barely can handle 1 time.
Because I couldn't believe what I was watching. I thought it was a joke.
It was
I couldn't believe it. But I realized this team really, I think this team is a pretender, man. They're not a contender. They're a phony. They've been fooling us all season. They're frauds.
We've been had. We've been took. Bamboozled.
We'll pull over my eye.
Horrible. breaking this down, I just want to go a little bit further in the third, fourth quarter in this overtime, pretty much for another minute or so. Third quarter, Phoenix had a 6-point lead. They were up 60-54, 8:54 left in that third quarter. Then a fight breaks out. Mr. Bledsoe was trying to draw a charge on Porzingis. Porzingis accidentally bumps to Marquise Chris, and he decides to take down Porzingis, throwing him to the ground. I respect Porzingis for stepping up and defending himself, and also Brandon Jennings. I also respect that. But come fourth quarter, the Knicks started to wake up when they changed their lineup. Ron Baker, Justin Holiday, with Baker running the point because Coach Hornacek realized that Jennings has been awful. So he decided to put Ron Baker as the point. Lance Thomas was at the 3, giving Melo rest because Melo was having an awful game. I believe between the first 3 quarters, I believe he's shooting 2 for 11 from the field. Porzingis at the 4, Kyle Quinn as the 5. And this team actually had the lead with this lineup. They actually had the lead in the fourth quarter. Melo comes back in the game, up by 2, 97-95, 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. Lance Thomas gets fouled at the 3-point line. Mr. Chandler, who, guys I'm real fond of, fouled Thomas at the 3-point line, argued with the ref. Technical foul was called. Melo hit the free throw. Then Thomas goes back to the line. He hits 3 free throws. Knicks had a 101-95 lead with 2:55 left. And then all of a sudden, it was all downhill from then, pretty much, man. Really was. Game was tied. What I don't understand, when the game tied at 1-1 apiece, Melo decides to take a shot while he's being double teamed with Chandler and PJ Tucker guarding him. When Jennings was wide open for a 3. So that was one instance. It really bothered me. Really, really bothered me.
I think you hit it pretty much on the head, How about you, Danny D? What you think about that game? Thank you, Phil.
We missed 10 free throws, guys. So all we needed was to get 3 free throws. We'd won this game because we're still in it. Because Carmelo had a horrible game. We know that.
Yeah, 3 of 15.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just looking at, Noah was 2 for 7 from free throw. It's free throws. All you got to do is hit 3. We could have won the game. We only lost by 2. It shouldn't even been that close. They was running up and down the court. Like LA said, it was 33 fast break points to 8.
Horrific.
To 8. Tyson Chandler, I think, had 23 rebounds.
That's correct.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, it's not crazy, man. That's not crazy. It was brought by Joe Noah. That's not crazy.
Tyson Chandler had 23 rebounds. Well, I'm not saying this is the old Tyson Chandler. This is not young Tyson Chandler. This is old Tyson Chandler. Had 23 rebounds.
And by the way, LA, Tyson Chandler is older than Joakim Noah, by the way, 34 years old, as Joakim Noah is 31 years old, by the way.
Hey, man, I can't disagree with you right now with this part. The Knicks was like Jekyll and Hyde to me in that game. You saw some good thing with Porzingis, 34 points, 8 rebounds.
The only bright spot we should have done was Kyle Quinn, because Kyle Quinn had 22.
And 14 rebounds, too, and 28 minutes to play.
So that means 28 minutes. So that means he should have started. He should have had most of the minutes then.
I agree. Now's the time you got to do that. Which was weird, though, because some of the other games he didn't even play. I don't know if he had some illnesses or his coach decision or what is that?
Yeah, did not play because of coach decision.
I didn't understand that, but, Go ahead, D.
And who did you say in the first game who stepped up? What's his name? What did you say what his name was? Willie who?
Oh, Hernan Gomez?
Hernan Gomez? He didn't even play.
I understand that, Eve.
He didn't even play.
I would have definitely given him both a lot of more minutes. I don't know. I don't understand it. But in my regards, like I said, this team in this particular game was they did some good things. We also did some bad things. Very Jekyll and Hyde. Quinn, like we just stated, played well. Noah actually wasn't super horrible. He only played 22 minutes. So it's like he got 8 points, 8 boards. Okay. I would have just gave Hernan Gomez more of those minutes like you just stated, Danny. Yeah. But I thought Courtney Lee did a good job defensive-wise on Booker. He held them to basically 3 of 16 shooting, 12 points. And that was a guy I really thought was going to go off on the Knicks, and he really didn't. You definitely seeing the loss of Rose right now, though, with this team. Jennings 28 minutes, 3 points, 1 assist. 1 of 6 shooting, 5 assists, 2 turnovers. That's horrible. And bad defense on the other side with Bledsoe and everything. It went off on the Knicks. 33 fast break points. The guards didn't contain. And 46 points in the paint again. I'm going to keep stressing it. 46 points in the paint against the Phoenix Suns, who's once again not a dominant inside threat to me like that. I don't understand that. Like you said, Melo and Rose injuries. Melo had the shoulder injury somewhat after this, so I understand maybe the shooting that might have been hurting him in that regards, and also missing Rose. But I think also in the wearing down Porzingis. 39 minutes the previous game and 42 minutes this game. And then once again, I'm just going to get on Lance Thomas again and Kaminskas. If Melo's not playing well, you need somebody else to step up. Kaminskas, they don't seem to have that much belief in him, so they're not really giving him no real minutes. Lance Thomas gave you 23 minutes, 6 points, 1 of 4 shooting, 2 rebounds. That's horrible. That's
horrible. $21 million man.
You see why I wanted that trade earlier, man. We got to do something else right now. But that's it for that game regarding the Knicks should have won that game like y'all stated. Lost opportunity. You can't have too many of these things as the season go by. It's going to go by quicker very soon if you keep doing that. Which leads us right into the Warriors game. Starting you, Dan D, what you think about that game overall?
Listen, I already knew that we was not getting no W when Carmelo said he wasn't playing. That's the thought I had. I already knew it was going to be an L. But surprisingly, we came out there to play, Even though we got out rebounded, Justin Holiday stepped up, and Ron Baker stepped up. Justin Holiday had 15. Ron Baker stepped up, had 13. He do the thing, but Jennings still had a horrible game in that game also. So I didn't expect us to win at all, but they didn't get blown out. So I was happy we didn't get blown out.
Yeah, I agree with that. They fought, which was the big thing I was very upset about the Cleveland game. They actually fought, even they was walking around like a mass unit. That's all I wanted you to fight, Show some heart out there with that. How about you, Flo? I'll go and get my details afterwards. What do you think about that loss they added to the Warriors, 103-90?
Let me talk about the positives before I get to the negatives. Positives. Billy Hernan Gomez, 4 of 8 from the field. 8 points, 10 rebounds, 1 block, 2 assists, 21 minutes. Ron Baker, 13 points in 23 minutes. 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Shot 6 of 7 from the field. And Justin Holiday, 6 steals, 5 of 8 from the field. 2 of 4 from the 3-point line. 3 assists, 2 rebounds in 23 minutes. Those are the positives of this game, pretty much. Negatives. Golden State had 41 assists. Golden State out-rebounded the Knicks 57-49. Golden State had 10 blocks and the Knicks 5. Overall, here's the thing that bothers me with this team. You hold Stephen Curry to 8 points of 3 of 14 from the field. But, Mr. Noah, where are you? You allowed JaVale McGee to score 17 points. Shoot 8 of 10 from the field. 17 points. JaVale McGee was begging Golden State to give him a contract. Work him out. This guy was done. His NBA career was over. Come on. And number 2, whoever was Joakim Noah's high school coach should be fired. He has no business coaching. He has no business coaching anywhere. This guy is the worst free throw shooter I've ever seen in my life. This guy, I don't know if you guys notice.
What about Shaq?
When he catches, when the game's online, Shaq makes free throws. Just remember that. When the game is online. With Noah, he takes the ball, and when he holds the ball to shoot the free throw, he shoots the free throw, putting his hand on the side of the ball to shoot the free throw and release it. Horrible. And, not only his high school coach should be fired, I'm surprised that Billy Donovan never corrected it when he was in Florida. That really bothers me, And I really hope that Billy Donovan never wins an NBA ring because of this. Because he has to take some fault. He has to take some fault for this also, I hope he never gets back to the playoffs. I hope he never wins an NBA ring. Period. Billy Donovan has no business coaching the NBA, man. None whatsoever.
Man. I like
he did a horrible job with Joakim Noah. He did a horrible job with Joakim Noah. This guy's a joke.
Billy.
He's a joke. He's a joke. He's a joke. He is a joke. A disgrace. A disgrace. I don't understand how you have a guy 31 years old, been in the league for so many years, an all-star with the Chicago Bulls, and this guy still don't know how to shoot a basket? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you making $72 million? Come on, man. This guy should be banned from the league, man. What a joke. Utter embarrassment whatsoever. Really. Sickening. I'm disgusted as a Knicks fan. Like I said before, this team is a pretender. They're an embarrassment to not only to Knicks fans, an embarrassment to the NBA, man. They're a joke. They're a fraud. And Phil Jackson should be embarrassed. You know? Joe Kim Nowitzki should be arrested for stealing money from Jim Dolan. That's a theft of services, man. Should be arrested, man. It's embarrassing. It really is.
Well, yeah.
All in all, this team doesn't play no defense. They don't commit to playing defense. Utter embarrassment, man. And this is the reason why they dropped to 6th place in the Eastern Conference. And they're going to keep sliding if they don't make a commitment to playing defense. It starts with their leader, Carmelo Anthony. He's got to commit. When you allow 21 points to Luol Deng in the Laker game, that is a red flag to me. It really is. And it transitioned over to the Phoenix game. And it transitioned over to the Golden State game. Pretty much, this Knicks team was outscored in the first 3 quarters in this Golden State game, with exception in the 4th quarter where the game was already put away. The Knicks only outscored Warriors 24-15 in the 4th quarter. But this game was already over, after 3 quarters. So, all in all, it was good to see, some of the guys step up. The others, the role players step up with Baker, Holiday, and Hernan Gomez. But all in all, it's an embarrassing game, embarrassing effort by the Knicks. They should be embarrassed as an organization. It really is. Horrible job.
Okay, Flo. Tell us how you really feel.
I'm done talking about this. I'm done. I'm really done talking about this Golden State Warriors game. I'm done. Okay. I got some more comments and more criticism on this Denver game that's coming up.
Got you. Let me talk Flo for Cliff a little bit. Some good things they show in this game. Like I said, without Rose, without Melo, I didn't expect much, but like they fought. But you sound like I did in the Cleveland game. So, I totally understand where you're coming from, Flo. Definitely some of the lusters come out the Knicks right now. So I definitely see where you're coming from. But I thought Holiday played well, 15 points, 5 of 8. I thought Baker played well. Also, he played better than Curry in that game, which Curry was 3 of 14. But Baker was 13.6 of 7, 3 assists. And I'm a fan of Baker, pretty much for what he can do, talent-wise. And I just think I like what he could do as a backup. But I think the 2 big things that I was talking about earlier is the trends. They allowed 65 rebounds by the Warriors. 65 rebounds, you're not winning no games doing that. And 62 points in the paint again. It's Swiss cheese defense in the paint. You can't allow that to happen. Especially with the Warriors, who are not the toughest team, not the biggest team, not the most physical. So if you can't stop them in the paint, these guys basically shooting threes all day, you're going to have a long, hard season, basically. Once again, I said when the guy goes down, you got to step up. Mr. Lance Thomas, where are you at? 24 minutes, 5 points, 2 of 9, 1 rebound, 0 assists. You can't have that. The only other good thing the Knicks did was basically only had 13 turnovers. Okay. But I think the injuries, I think the bench play, and the rebound points in the paint was the game right there. That was it. But going into the next game, the Nuggets game, how about you, Danny D? What's your major points regarding that game?
A debacle. It was horrible. I don't know. It was horrible. Not only, like you said, points in the paint. Denver had 68 points in the paint compared to the Knicks 32. That's one. Fast break points. They was up and down the floor. It's very frustrating, man. It was 21-14 in there. It was just very frustrating out there. I don't know what happened. Brandon Jennings, like you said, he has to come off the bench. He can't lead the team. I'm not saying no knock to him. Even Jeff Horner said he has more of a street type of ball type of play, and he's not conservative like Derrick Rose is to go to the hole and create fouls and things like that of that nature. And that's what we're really at. Carmelo had 29 points. Yeah, but still, all in all, it was a horrible effort by the Knicks. I don't even know we were down, came back, but nah. It was a horrible effort by the Knicks. That's the game they should have won, and they had to win that game. Just to try to make it even after West Coast swing.
And that's what Melo said. It's a must-win. Sound like
Patrick,
you were talking
it had to be a must-win. Yeah, you can't. It's a must-win because these are teams to make the playoffs. Remember, it's to make the playoffs. You gotta beat these teams. The Golden State, I'm like whatever. Cleveland Cavaliers, Phoenix, you gotta win.
Exactly.
Denver, you got to win. These are games because you can't get these games back. These are gimmies. You know what I'm saying? Like a fly-by course. You know, you go to college like, this is a gimme. I know this is an A.
Very
This is
true.
a gimme class, man. Landslide. I got this. You can't lose these games, man.
I can't disagree with you there. It's hard to say. I can't. What about you, Flo? What you got to say about this Denver game? I'll say mine afterwards.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. Danny hit it on the head. Pretty much. Carmelo Anthony said this was a must-win game. He showed up. 10 of 14 from the field, 29 points. But here's the problem. Now Carmelo Anthony is 0-4 in Denver since he's put on the Knicks uniform. 0-4 in Denver. First thing first, the Knicks have lost 3 in a row for the first time this season. Number 2. At one point, the Knicks had cut this lead down to 5 when they were down in this game. But then the Nuggets went on a 30-15 run. Knicks are 0-4 without Derrick Rose. Kenneth Faried had 25 points, the mammal. And one of the guys that I've always mentioned, LA, that I'm a big fan of, Emmanuel Mudiay, 22 points. I'm a big fan of this kid.
Yeah,
but
I know. Mm-hmm.
But all in all, Danny mentioned it, a couple minutes ago. The Nuggets scored 68 points in the paint. That's it. that's the story. That's the story of the game. You're not defending the paint. You can't expect to win basketball games. And what bothers me, here's the thing. What bothers me, more so than anything else, the Knicks, for some reason, they have a problem with these fast teams, the Denvers and the Phoenix of the world. These teams stink, and they have a problem. The Knicks should be imposing their will against those two teams because they're the bigger and stronger team. They're not doing that at all. They're allowing Denver and Phoenix to run up and down the court, fast break points. I don't even remember seeing Denver and Phoenix running a half court set in this game. Did you guys remember seeing that? 'Cause I don't remember seeing it at all.
Not when it was
all
working.
all I saw was put back dunks. That's all I saw in the Denver game. Were put back dunks in the Denver
Pretty
game.
much.
Just off the rim and just dunking on people.
That's pretty much.
This was a joke, man. Another joke, an embarrassing win again. Not only for the Knicks, for the entire organization, man. If I'm Jim Dolan, I would be calling Phil Jackson to my office, tomorrow morning, and said, "What are you gonna do next? Seriously, what is your next move as president of basketball operations here? Because this team needs to make a trade ASAP." The trade proposal that LA mentioned earlier today, that's a start in the right direction, but it still hasn't addressed the issue with Mr. Noah, And even Kyle O'Quinn, has been sloppy defensively in the last couple of games. I know he's playing well offensively, but he's been kind of sloppy.
Yeah, I saw him going. A couple of plays, guys was just going around under the basket, and I think Hornacek got upset with that and pulled him that game. I remember one key part. The guy just did a quick little spin around layup, and he really didn't put no pressure on him. And the guy, even I think, Wise Zerbat was talking about it. And he was like, "You got to put a guy on his back. You got to make him know that you did. You're too big for something like that to happen." Especially when you're not getting that much from Noah right now. You can't afford to have 2 guys playing soft inside.
My man, let me say this real quick. I just want to say this real quick. The 90s Knicks with Ewing would destroy this Knicks team.
That's a whole different era. Whole different era.
It would destroy this Knicks team. Anthony Mason, Derek Harper, Pat Ewing, even Charlie Ward coming off the bench. They would destroy this Knicks team. This team is an embarrassment. You go on the West Coast trip, expected to go 4-1, and you finish 2-3 on this West Coast trip. You lost 3 in a row. You're coming back home against the Pacers. Keep in mind, you got to go back on the West Coast and play the Spurs, the Clippers. So you're not done. You got to take care of business when you have the opportunity to. When you're playing as teams, when you have a better record, you gotta take them out of their misery. Start off early in the game and put them out. Stop playing around with these teams. Always being down this team. Not only that, this team's an awful team on the road. It really is. They're an awful team, man. It's embarrassing to watch this Knicks team play basketball. It really is, man. I don't even think this Knicks team can beat a high school basketball team right now. Awful team. Awful.
Oh, man.
Awful team.
I wouldn't go that far.
They're an embarrassment.
But I understand. I understand the passion.
That is the truth.
I understand the passion right now.
The truth
but
will set me free. That's the truth.
I wouldn't go that far. I think they're very inconsistent. I think you're really seeing the lack of Rose right now. I think that's a big thing. Let me just talk about something that they did good and bad. Bad to me was Melo. Good to me was Melo, 29 points. Porzingis 22, Hernan Gomez 17, 10, and 2 blocks. I think that was pretty much the good part. Y'all pretty much hit everything else. Jennings once again didn't show up. 36 minutes, 2 of 8, 7 assists, 3 steals. Not going to get it done. Lee, 36 minutes again, 4 12, 6 fouls, 10 points. Horrible. And then, basically, y'all touched on everything right now with regards to it. Once again, you allow 55% opponent field goal, 33 points in the first quarter. Once again, that's what we were talking about earlier. This team just keeps falling behind. You can't afford to do that, especially in Denver on the road. This team run up and down. You got the altitude issues. And 68 points in the paint. We discussed that. I don't want to beat a dead horse. They was horrible in that. 21 fast break points, terrible. But the thing is, I think you're really seeing the loss of Rose. I think you're seeing Melo, who I think is still hurt. I think he tried the best in the beginning. But the thing is that makes you nervous that he said this was a must-win. And then when your leader says it's a must-win and y'all show up like this, that doesn't bode well for this team as a whole to me. 127 points to Denver? Come on, man. That's horrible. 127 points. Think about that. That's not going to get it done. So basically, we covered that as much as we can. I don't want to continue with it. And just finish that up. That was it for the week's Knicks Weekly Roundup. And basically, we're just going to go into NBA Honorable Mentions of the week right now.
Hold on, L. I got one more thing to add. Guys,
ahead,
we have a point guard issue. What happened to Chasing Randall? That's in the Westchester League right now in the D League. Where are we going to bring this guy up? Anybody knows when we're going to bring this guy? He's killing right now in the D League. When are we going to bring this guy up? We have him right now.
Should be tomorrow.
What are we going to do? That's what I'm trying to say. But they're saying he might have to cut. He just had 9 threes in the D League right now. He's had 74 points within the last 2 games. When are we going to bring this guy up? And he's on the D League, Westchester Knicks. They're talking about we have to cut somebody from the Knicks to bring him up. Why not?
Do it. They got no spaces right now to try to do that type of deal. Why not?
Well, here's the question, guys. Who would you cut right now?
Hey, if it got to be indoors, something like that, fine.
That's what I got to go.
But if you cut indoor, can you still make that trade with Philadelphia?
You may not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing, you still got Plumlee, who's not playing it at all, really. I haven't seen him get any playing time, and I don't know when. So, I mean, if you try to make those type of deals, then fine, you would do that. If not, then put a Plumlee and put him on back in the D League or something like that if you're not going to play him. Don't waste a spot at this point. The Knicks can't afford it. I know you can't do it with Thomas or Noah. You can't put them back or anywhere, but because of money-wise and their status in the league. But if the Plumlee got to go back, I know you're paying him a couple $4 million or something like that. So be it, man, at this point. The Knicks got to make a move. They got to do something. And, the coach is going to follow him soon, too, because people going to start saying this team looks like they're not conditioned that great sometimes. They're not fighting. All these are coaching this as well. I'm a fan of Hornacek, but you can't have the team coming out looking like this. You can't. And, well, basically, I just want to go into honorable mentions. Thank you, D, for the last one. I'm all for it. If you can bring them up, I'm all for that. And so on honorable mentions, how about you, Flo? You got anything regarding honorable mentions for this night? For today?
Pretty much L.A. Mike Conley first came back from injury. Mike Conley shoots a free throw, passes Paul Gasol as the Grizzlies' all-time leading scorer with 8,967 career points. So honorable mention of the week will be Mike Conley Jr., point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay, that's a good one. Thank you, Flo. How about you, D? You got anything for honorable mention of the week?
Actually, another Memphis Grizzly I got is going to be Marc Gasol, who's averaging 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 5.3 assists. He just recently had a triple-double against Anthony Davis, and he had 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists. It's going out to my man Marc Gasol out there in Memphis.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate Danny D. And for mine for the week is basically the late great Craig Sager, who died at 65 years old. Y'all know him very well. TV sportscaster known for his colorful outfits and, colorful nature. It's always it's sad, see him pass. He had a battle with acute myeloid leukemia, which is a cancer of the blood and bone marrow since 2014. And he went under numerous bone marrow transplants, chemotherapy. He even received bone marrow from his son, and Craig Jr. And I remember watching they had some of the small light type documentary regarding it. And pretty much all of us know some of that has been affected by cancer and things of that nature. I have in my family, things like that. And it's just tough to see that, a guy who's really trying to brighten the world in a certain way and brighten the game with a smile on his face and different things like that. And I just think about the strength he showed doing it and battle it. And even when, he had his toughest times, he was still on the road, still trying to get back out there. And it's just tough to see, And so, condolences and prayers go out to his family and things of that nature. And it's just a tough thing to see in regards to that. But that was my honorable mention of the week. And then let's go into the hot topic of the day, trying to transition for our hot topic of the day. And this is our hot topic for today. And basically, this is a quarter mark of the NBA season. And we're just going to discuss briefly, the current state of the New York Knicks and where do they go from here. And we're just going to start from the top down regarding looking at the management issues, coaching issues, the players overall. What do you say about that, Danny D? What you think about where the Knicks are at the quarter point mark?
The quarter point right now, if it's a letter grade, I'm giving them a D. Kurt Rambis going to have to go. We got to get somebody better to teach these guys defense, even though they're getting paid millions of dollars. Because defensively, I don't know what we're doing out there, guys. It's just horrible. It's horrible. It's basura, as my man say, garbage. Because teams shouldn't be like Denver, stuff like that, 127 points to these bums. Come on now. It's no way. And Jeff Hornacek has to really sit down and really get this rotation together and get a solid rotation. If Noah's gonna come off the bench, we have to get it together to get a good rotation in. Let Willie Herman Gomez get in and get busy. That's it right now. Not looking too good right now with the management part.
But excuse me, one thing regarding management. The thing I'm not really getting on Dolan right now. I know everybody lied to, but I think he pretty much did what he was supposed to right now. He basically gave you the money to set up the team. He got the big time coach / GM and Phil Jackson. And he pretty much been hands off.
No, he was hands off, but the thing is, you even though you're hands off, that's not the problem. You can't be hands off. You have to make sure you have to have a supervisor. You have to supervise it. I'm just not going to give Phil a whole bunch of money to do nonsense. You understand?
But then they'll say he's being controlled. kind of like the Mellow deal, like he's putting his hand too much in the cookie jar. The best person I like was the best person that I like. That who's the GM out there that we had? Flo was Donnie. Was it Donnie Walsh? Donnie Walsh, because he emptied the cupboard and actually did a true rebuilding project and actually tried to take a shot at LeBron.
And he listened and he know he's doing. Phil, man, you think Noah's stealing money? Phil is stealing money. Nah, man, no.
Okay. And what you think about those first three issues regarding this flow management, coaching, players? We'll get to the other ones in a moment. What you think just in regards to the Knicks at the quarter point mark? Thank you, D.
I think D hit it on the head with all the points. In terms of as a team, the grade is D. I agree with D, number one. Number two, you're coming off a 3-game losing streak. Coming back home, you're facing the Pacers Tuesday night at the Garden. You have to definitely make a change in your starting lineup. And that begins with Mr. Noah on the bench. And you're either going to start Kyle Quinn or Willie Hernan Gomez. So that's the first thing that has to be addressed. In terms of coaching, all in all, Kurt Rambis has done an awful job as the defensive coordinator of the Knicks. Obviously, they still haven't learned how to defend a pick and roll defense. Pick and roll.
Absolutely.
So I think they need to make a commitment on defense. Don't worry so much about the offense right now in practice. Focus more on the defense, and also focus more also on boxing out with the rebounding. I was embarrassed with the Denver game where Danny mentioned earlier that Denver was just catching the ball off the rebound and just dunking it. So, in terms of Mr. Dolan, I think he's done what he's capable of doing. He wrote out checks, but the problem is now with him. It's unfortunate that he doesn't have that much basketball knowledge, because if he did, I think he would be a little bit more hands-on with the Knicks. But since he's not, he wrote a check to Phil Jackson. Right now, Phil Jackson and Joakim Noah should be holding hands because they should be arrested for theft of services. You're stealing money from Mr. Dolan. I don't like that at all. You're stealing money. That's not right. It's not right. They should be arrested.
I hear you. All right. Thank you, Flo. I think the toughest part looking at this as a Knicks fan, as we all are, is just that the players are there for the most part. They should be a lot more consistent, and this is where the coaching comes in, some of the management issues, But I think you're starting to see the injury issue in this last week with Rose, and I think that's really been hurting them a little more than I thought it would at this earlier point. But I think that's the main that's very frustrating to look at because it's not a super young team, and they're making a lot of young rookie mistakes with some things. It should be a lot more consistency by the quarter point mark, And just going to wins and losses, and do we still believe they're going to make the playoffs? That's the next question I had. We all thought they were going to make the playoffs at the beginning of the podcast. Make sure y'all, take a chance to look back at them. We basically said it would be between the 7th and 8th seed right now. I don't know if we all still feel the same way looking at the team at this point. What you think about that, Danny D?
It's close because remember it's the East Coast. It's the Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference. But then the thing is, it's so close because right now with these losses, we should truly be in third place. We should be the third seed right now. We should be the third seed. But now with these 3 losses, it's so many teams we got to contend with: the Celtics, the Hornets, the Bucks, the Pacers, the Bulls. Then we still have to watch out for people that's not even in playoffs right now: the Pistons, Hawks, and Wizards and Magic. So if we that's why I said these games are so important. It might be a 50-50 shot. If we keep on winning 2, winning 3, winning 4, we're going to be in a rat race to get to 8th or 7th spot with 5 other teams. And it's going to be too close to call. I think we're going to make it, but it might be the skin on our teeth if we're not healthy. If we're not healthy, it's going to be tight. If we're healthy, we'll be okay.
Okay. I definitely understand that. That's where I would see they should be the 3rd spot as well. Excuse me 1 second. That's what I believe so also. They're just underachieving right now. How about you, Flo? What you think regarding the Knicks? Do you still think they're going to make the playoffs or not?
They got to make some moves. That's number 1. Number 2, starting Tuesday against the Pacers at the Garden. Like I said, they have to make a lineup change. You've lost 3 in a row. So, it starts with that, and they're going to have to make a trade. They have to make a move, change their roster. If they do that, then I think they can move up to 3rd. Right now, I'm not sure yet how they're going to finish right now with the same roster. I understand that Rose is hurt. I understand that Melo needs some rest because he has an ailing shoulder. But the problem is, they have to commit to playing defense. They got to make a move, a lineup change, and they're going to have to make some trades. Once they do those 3 things, then definitely I think they're the third best team in the Eastern Conference. If not, they're going to be struggling, and they're going to, the bottom's going to fall out, and they're going to slide to 9th place, and they'll miss the playoffs if they don't do those 3 things that I mentioned a minute ago.
Okay. Thank you, Flo. And just the last question briefly. Are you buying or selling their proverbial stock? Are we ready to back up the truck? Ready to, stop jumping off the cliff and halt it? Maybe going a little too fast? Or these things that can be fixed like Flo stated with the main 3 things he stated and things of that nature. How about you, Danny D, to finish up this hot topic? You buying or selling?
Yeah, it can. No, I'm buying. I'm buying it. We can, if we sit down, calm down, and figure some things out, we'll be okay. But it's urgency. It's urgency. Because who's to say later on if Derrick Rose gets hurt and he misses the rest of the season? Then what? Brandon Jennings is going to be the point guard for the rest of the season? Now what are we going to do?
Not here.
You understand? Or if Carmelo is not talking about the injury and God forbid something happens and Carmelo's out, who's going to back up Carmelo?
Lance Thomas.
Yeah, the $21 million man. So what are we going to do? So that's the thing. If we sit down, like Flo said, sit down and really sit down and strategically figure this thing out so we can go for the long haul. It's a race. It is a long race. It's not a race. It's basically like a marathon, and we're just trying to get to the end, but not just get to the end and then get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. I'm not with that.
Exactly. And remember, it can get late quick. I always say that saying, it can get late real quick in the NBA. I noticed that. But thank you, Danny D. And briefly, Flo, how about you? You buying or selling the proverbial style of the Knicks right now? I know he's really heated earlier, so.
I'm going to pass on this question. I'm really pissed off with this right now.
You sure? You sure they want to go there, man? Come on, the people want to hear that, man.
I'm done.
We got to know.
I'm fed up. Done.
Oh, to be continued. To be continued. I'm gonna buy the stock right now. I'm not, not ready to get to no relatives. There's no stock down the road. There's some shaky stock, but I'm gonna buy it right now. I think the talent is there still, especially like Danny D said in the East. You got opportunity to move up anywhere from the sixth to the third, and that's where they should be right now. But it's gonna take some change. It's gonna take some more commitment. It's gonna take some fight, and it's gonna take maybe a move like you stated, Flo. Change the starting lineup. Maybe get some little bench help, like we always stated from the very first podcast. Yes. But I think the challenge there, but they got to show more fight. If you ain't got the fight, you ain't got the heart to do it, all this other stuff doesn't matter. You can say what you want to say. That's going to end that right then and there. And you're just going to do like Danny D said, you're going to get knocked out first round. If that happens, it's going to be a whole lot of change after this season. So they need to keep that in mind. But that's it for the hot topic. I appreciate it, fellas. As always, thank you in regards to that. And basically, this is the end of our show. We'll make some closing remarks. Danny D, how about you? What's your closing remarks for the end of the show?
Hey, man. Just another day is a slogan that we say. Knicks, let's try to get together. I'm thanking all the fans and subscribers. Knicksfandom, let's keep it going, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Danny D. As always, much appreciated. How about you, Flo? What's your closing remarks for today?
I just want to say thank you to all the listeners, to Knicksfandom. This is one of the greatest shows. I'm happy to be part of it. This is an A-list show for the best fans in the world, the Knicks fans and all the NBA fans. Let's keep it going, gentlemen.
Thank you, Flo. It's always much appreciated. My closing remarks for the day. Until next time, big thanks to my co-hosts, as always. Thanks again to our loyal listeners. We hope you enjoyed the revamped version of our show. And, keep sending those comments. We're listening. We're trying to change things up a little bit. Keep sharing. Keep subscribing. And, basically, everyone, happy holidays, everyone. That's coming up as well. Stay safe out there and take care. See ya.